Is Arlington, Virginia the best DC suburb? Maybe. In this video, we're going to cover everything Arlington, Virginia. We're going to cover where it's on the map, why it's become so popular, the north and the south section of town, as well as metro accessibility, neighborhoods, lifestyle, parks and rec, and everything in between. Whether you're a local, longtime resident, or even a tourist, there's something for you in this video. All right, first up, where is Arlington, Virginia located? If you look at with me here on the map, you can see it's directly west of DC across the river. It's the closest location to get into DC from Northern Virginia. And Arlington, so we're also clear, is a county. It is not a city. We do treat it as a city when we refer to it, and locals alike, but it is a county. Now, Arlington is split into two sections, a north and a south. Route 50 is that divider for it. It actually dates back to 1932 when this distribution was codified. And if you are curious about how the streets work, the numbers go from east to west along Route 50, and the street names go from north to south. Pretty straightforward. All right, what's your commute going to look like if you're living in Arlington and you commute to DC? Well, depends. You have a few options available to you. So if you're driving in, depends on which section of Arlington, right, north or south, and the way the day of the week, essentially. Mondays and Fridays actually have the least amount of traffic. Tuesdays through Thursdays, with a lot of hybrid work schedules, you see more workers coming in the office. So if you're driving, roughly 15 to 30 minutes for you. Depends upon traffic of the day, right? Depends on construction, the way the wind blows. It's a very densely populated area. There's always traffic in Northern Virginia, especially in Arlington. It doesn't let up, but it does have its peaks. Now, if you are taking Metro, you have 11 Metro stations in Arlington. Again, depending upon which neighborhood you're in, the accessibility for you. But closer to, say, 15, maybe 20 minutes, depending upon if you have to switch lines to get in to town. So Metro will be your quickest route. You can obviously bike as well. How fast can you pedal? How congested are the trails that day? And if you live close enough in, you could live in, say, Roslyn, and you could walk across through Georgetown and take a nice leisurely stroll into downtown DC. I don't see a ton of people do it, but that is an option for you. So the commute here is not terrible. It is certainly the best in Northern Virginia. And just know that there is traffic all times of day if you're driving, but I would lean towards Metro if you can, if you are going to be a regular commuter. All right, getting into where you're going to live and why are you going to live there. So Arlington has a bunch of housing options available to you. Most of them are between condos and single-family homes. They have a very small inventory of townhouses, which we'll get to in a minute. And it's lifestyle dependent as well. So if you want to be walkable to all the things in the North Arlington section, you're going to more than likely want to be off the Orange Line corridor, as I call it, which is between the Roslyn Metro Station to the Ballston corridor. So you've got Roslyn, Courthouse, Clarendon, Virginia Square, and Ballston. Now, these areas here, you've got different options of why you want to live there. So if you're going to Roslyn, for instance, that is, you've got great sight lines of DC. You can see Georgetown. You can see the river. There's a lot of high-rise, higher-end condos in that section of town. There's not a ton of neighborhood amenities, though, right? You still have access to all the parks and things like that, but it's going to be a smaller neighborhood feel for you. You're going to be walkable to a couple grocery stores, and you're going to be, if you want to watch Georgetown, yeah, you can do that too. But there's not a ton there for you. There's a couple townhouse developments there, but not many. They come up few and far in between. It's a condo-heavy neighborhood. Going up to Courthouse, yeah, you've got a lot more options there between rentals and condos and the occasional townhouse that pops up on the market. That one's going to have a lot more options for you for restaurants, shops, bars, things like that. And then as we move up the Orange Line corridor a little bit more, then you get in the neighborhood of Clarendon. That's the one famous for its nightlife and entertainment. You got a lot of restaurants. That neighborhood's grown up a bit, though, in the past few years, so you're starting to see a bit more parks and playgrounds being utilized in that neighborhood. And as we go on to the next one, you got Virginia Square, which is home to George Mason's Law School. This is like more of a sleepy neighborhood on this section here. Some people call it boring. It doesn't have the nightlife and entertainment the other ones do, but if you want a quieter lifestyle, but you still want to be close to all the things, you want to be right off the metro, you want to be able to one stop away to be in Clarendon, Virginia Square could be a great option. And then we get to Ballston. The Ballston corridor, which has been totally revitalized in the last 10 years, has a lot going on for it in terms of new development, construction, projects, employers moving in the area. It's a great opportunity for investment too if you're looking to invest in condos and rent them out, as well as live there and just enjoy the general lifestyle. So that's your Orange Line corridor in North Arlington. Now, if you want single-family homes that are walkable to all that stuff, you've got two neighborhoods in mind. You've got Lyon Park, which is just south of Clarendon, And that's going to have your more traditional smaller lot sizes for Arlington with single family homes in them. And they are, starting to, the secret's out for that one. You are starting to see some teardowns in the neighborhood, pushing the envelope of the price point up above $2 million in that neighborhood. And there's been a lot of development there recently for that. And then above Clarendon, just north of it, you have Lyon Park, which is certainly the most expensive off this corridor neighborhood. You've got new development for single family homes, some of them around $4 million. It's tough to find a lot in that neighborhood for under $1 million for new development. There is, some obviously properties ready to go there in between the $1 to $4 million range, but that is going to be your higher end single family homes that are totally ready to go. That is walkable to Clarendon and all the things, but still has a quiet feel to it. That's that one section of North Arlington. Now, say if you don't want to be off the metro, but you want to be in North Arlington, you want to be close to all the stuff there. You don't want to be too far from Tyson's. There are two other neighborhoods we've toured in other videos as well, and they are Yorktown and Williamsburg. There are different stages in terms of lot sizes and amenities, but those give you opportunities to have car dependency. Of course, you're not right off the metro, but you can drive to anywhere and everywhere very easily from there, and you have the ability to buy existing homes that are move-in ready, as well as the opportunity to develop newer McMansions, if you will, or other properties like that in North Arlington. So the North Arlington neighborhoods to watch typically is the Orange Line corridor, those five neighborhoods off of that, as well as Lyon Village, or Lyon Park, Lyon Village, and then Yorktown and Williamsburg. Those are the big neighborhoods to watch on the north section of town. Okay, guys, now moving on to South Arlington, right? South of Route 50, we have the new neighborhood of National Landing. Now, why would you consider this neighborhood? It's if you like the walkability, right? We discussed the Orange Line corridor in North Arlington. National Landing is coming in, being totally redeveloped for walkability. Now, you're saying, I haven't heard of National Landing before. Why is that? It's a new designation between Arlington County and Amazon as part of its bid to build an HQ2. It comprises 3 existing neighborhoods, which are Pentagon City, Crystal City, and the Arlington section of Potomac Yard. They built, or are currently building out, a ton of amenities, new apartment buildings, condos, things like that. We have covered that in another video, a tour, which you should be seeing pop up on screen right now. Now, also, if you're getting any value out of this video, do me a favor, hit the like button. So, National Landing, you're going to see a lot of condos being developed here, not too many townhouses. A lot of apartments are going in as well. Now, why is that? It's part of Amazon's build or commitment to building out this area, and with Arlington County to totally revitalize it and trying to make it Northern Virginia's largest downtown. So in a couple years, you're going to see a plethora of new restaurants, shops, bars opening up and operating there, and their version of a competition to the Orange Line corridor. Now, there are a couple of other neighborhoods that are walkable to National Landing to consider that are single family home neighborhoods, and these have a ton of competition right now. They are the Aurora Hills and Aurora Highlands area of this neighborhood. It is still walkable to most of what is in Crystal City, and it is becoming super competitive for these single family homes. You've seen a lot of appreciation. I mean, they were growing before the whole Amazon thing happened, but Amazon was just kind of like gasoline on the fire for that neighborhood. So you're seeing a ton of investors go in and a lot of other new development going on, which we had talked before about why the townhouses are such low inventory. It is because for a long time in Arlington, you couldn't develop them. They were not allowed simply for a variety of reasons, not all fair. And Arlington's way of trying to remedy that moving forward is they've done away, not completely, with single family zoning, which they have missing middle housing legislation that has recently passed. And what this does is it allows between 2 and 6 units to go where a single family home would have been placed. It still has to conform to the neighborhood rules, right? So you can't build it higher, you can't build it wider or deeper than what the existing rules are. Those permits are going to start to come out soon. So it's an initial pilot program for the next 5 years for permits going out in construction, but that is going to be a change for Arlington. It's going to put out new, more affordable housing. It's going to put out more townhouses and more multifamily housing, so condo units in neighborhoods where you would find single-family homes. And I would bet you would see that in Aurora Hills, Aurora Highlands, stuff like that going on due to its proximity to Amazon. Okay, and getting to the last section of South Arlington to consider right now for housing, and this is the Fairlington-Shirlington section. So you've got the neighborhood of Fairlington, which is a historically designated neighborhood, as well as the village of Shirlington, which is a very cute little downtown kind of feel to it with a bunch of restaurants and shops. All these are right next to each other, so you can actually walk to go out at night and eat and things like that in your grocery store, but you're not off the metro there, right? You're gonna have to drive more than likely. You are close to bike trails and other public transportation options, and it is a more affordable price point than the other neighborhoods we've covered. Certainly not going to be as competitive as National Landing moving forward, but it is still a great place to get into the neighborhood and lifestyle of Arlington, access to Arlington schools, which we'll cover in just a second. So Fairlington, Shirlington, that section would be my last part of South Arlington to consider. All right, talking about jobs and cost of living in Arlington. Now, is Arlington a cheap place to live? No, it's not a cheap place to live if you're being completely objective. You can see on screen here, it's about 60% more expensive to live in Arlington than the national average, certainly more expensive than other parts of Virginia. Now, why is that? Well, it's a very competitive place to work, for one, right? We have a ton of employers here. I know we talked about Amazon. I might only mention them one more time in the video, but there's also Raytheon, Boeing, a bunch of other companies that move their headquarters to Northern Virginia and Arlington and are putting a lot of workers in this region with high income earning jobs. And they're driving up the cost. They can afford other houses. They come from other parts of the country. And so that is driving up the cost across the board for real estate as well as other just general cost of living. So jobs, it's an absolute great place to work, but not cheap. Okay, now getting into the school system here, and I'm going to stick with third-party information care of niche.com so I avoid any housing violations here. Now, niche.com has it as the #1 ranked school district to teach in Virginia as well as the DC area, and is the #2 school district in Virginia for ranking for education, as well as the #3 in the entire DC metro area. Now, what do you also get with that? You get AP programs, enrichment, language programs, and my last reference to Amazon, you get technology through its Amazon partnership with Arlington County. So Arlington County schools are very highly ranked, very competitive, and they accommodate a wide range of student body in them. So certainly a reason, a draw for people to move to this area if they have any need for the public schools. All right, getting into one of my favorite sections here is the parks and recs available to you in Arlington. Now, Arlington is currently ranked the 6th year in a row as the #1 fittest city in the United States, according to the American College of Sports Medicine. It's ranked as the 2nd best place to live in the United States, according to niche.com, and it has the 5th highest park system rating, with coincidentally DCB #1. Now, what does this mean to you if you live here, right? What do those numbers mean? It means that within 10 minutes or less of walking, you can be at any park, playground, things like that, outdoor activities for you. There are 184 parks available to you in Arlington, so plenty of opportunities to be outside, to be fit, easy access to trails. There is a very extensive park and rec system here, especially if you have kids in the summer. There's a ton of programs available to you where you can literally keep them busy the entire summer. So if you are trying to be fit or more fit, Arlington is a great place for you to do that. All right, guys, if I missed anything at all that you want to talk about, feel free to put that in the comment section below. I'll try to cover it in the next video. And if you have any questions about your move in or out of Arlington or even the DC area, feel free to contact me directly. My information is below as well. And until next time, I hope to see you around town.